Million. Or no, step 8 in the 12-step process, not 12-step, but 12-part process to create an awesome day. Now, the whole idea was, what do you do to seize the day? Now, carpe diem, everybody knows that phrase, which means, take advantage of your immediate opportunities, take advantage of them with all beautiful intent, but fiercely and furiously. And we've gone through the first 7 steps. Now, you'll notice the background's completely different. Today, I'm in Philadelphia, and I just finished speaking today at an event, Ken MacArthur Infinite Impact event, the event was quite good. Tomorrow, there's some good speakers, Armin Morin and Tracy Repchuk and some others, and Stephanie Hartman, sorry, saying her name wrong. Today, Tom Beal and I and Larry Steinhaus spoke, Ken MacArthur. So anyway, yesterday there were some more. Here's the reason I'm mentioning that. Number one, I was explaining the background being so different. And 2, it isn't going to be repeated. So this is just going to be one video that doesn't repeat. But I want to go through these processes because here's the premise. Seize the day means take advantage of your opportunity. And the subtext is seize the day. This process is the secret to live in a state of flow and cause miracles to appear. Now, undoubtedly, you have skeptical thoughts about that. I'm not going to convince you or convince you about the possibilities. The possibilities are truly infinite. If you're stuck on the idea of I'm crazy or this can't happen, then no amount of convincing will change any of that. But if you live in your heart and mind in a place where you felt intuition, some serendipitous things have happened, you've followed intuition, you really know you can create your ultimate life, even if you're not doing it right now, because that's a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. A life of purpose, prosperity, and joy is within your reach. That life of purpose, prosperity, and joy is yours. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to go through the steps again. The first step was enter spirit and receive pure power. The second step was seek inspiration in silence and stillness. Now, the computer's telling me we're losing a little bandwidth here, and so you may not see all of it. I apologize for that. The third step is to speak words of being. And that's a really powerful one. So you should go back a few days and watch that if you haven't seen it, because words of declaration about who you're being are critical especially to achieving powerful results, expected or miraculous things. The next 3, 4, 5, and 6 were about things not to do. So 4 was affirm commitments and eliminate obligations. Now the not part is don't have any obligations, because that carries the seeds of resentment. Go back and watch that one. 5th one is to transform negative rumination and conversation. And the 6th one was to ignore the irrelevant, thought creations, imaginary or tangible. Now those are really clear, and I did good explanations on the videos before. Then yesterday's was to set clear, measurable goals. So this is for each day. And remember, this is a daily process. So this is not intended to encourage you to set impossible goals or things that are overwhelming. It is clear, measurable goals that will move you in the direction of your ultimate life. Now, this only thing if you're planning or if you believe or if you're committed to creating a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. Today, the talk I gave was a lot of fun. I got to tell some stories about some of the miraculous things that have happened to me, and I got to speak to about a room full of 50-something folks were there, I think. It was awesome. There were people there that were just connecting deeply with the idea of taking control of their own lives and creating extraordinary outcomes. Now, the lineup of speakers is extraordinary, and I felt really good about the talk. It's too bad, because it really was an extraordinary event, not just from my talk, but from all the others that were there too. Tons of, and I say good advice and good stories. None of that even matters. Who cares about anybody else's story unless it causes you to believe something new, different, and powerful, or take action. So lots of people came up after me and said, "Oh, what a wonderful talk." You know what I asked them? I said, "Thank you," because it was kind. But then what I said is, "So tell me what's going to be different for you. What action are you committed to taking?" Because all through the talk, I kept saying, "Look, this isn't for me. I don't need it. I'm here to share something with you in hopes that you make a choice to take complete sovereign control of your own life and then take powerful action." So it was fun because that sparked some conversation when I asked, "Okay, so what's different for you?" Rather than just saying, "Thank you," which I try to be very gracious and grateful, but bullet in the eyes, like, what is different for you? And that caused some deep reflection and a little bit of uncomfortableness in a couple of the conversations. And I sat down with them and I had them tell me what was going to be different. Have you created time in your calendar? I gave some assignments tonight. Day of the event, they're supposed to come, and tell me, like, what did you commit to do different? What actually has changed for you? Because otherwise, I told them during the speech, I had about 90-minute speech, I told them, you might as well go to sleep. If you're not gonna take action, just go to sleep. Put your head down and forget it, right? So it was fun, and it was really good. So the number 8, set clear, measurable intentions, is number 7. Number 8 is this one: take direct, consistent, motivated action to achieve commitments. Direct, consistent, motivated action. Now, there's a book written by Dusan Jukic, who's a coach. It's called Straight Line Leadership. And it's written for leaders in companies, but the focus is straight line leadership. So no messing around, no mamby-pamby. What is the most direct thing you can do to accomplish the goal you set in step 7? Step 7. So, for example, today I did all these. This morning, my clear intention was to be fully prepared, to give a great talk, to follow up and love people and help them is good. So that was my clear intention for today, and that was it. My talk was only 90 minutes. But you know what I did to prepare? I sat focused, riveted on the speaker before me. It was one before me and I was second. And I watched and listened, and that made me able to refer to his talk, conversation, to connect with the audience and so forth, because I was listening to him because I wanted to know him better. Now, I'd met this particular speaker before, but not a lot. So I got a chance to really connect with his message and his story and power and the things he was encouraging us to do and use it. His story and the cool stuff he taught, and then also to connect with the message that I had. So that was my only goal today. Connect, listen powerfully, listen to the talks before and after mine, and connect deeply with members of the audience who wanted something. Now, this was a pitch fest kind of event where nearly every speaker is offering something for sale. And that's, difficult. You're competing with everybody, et cetera, et cetera. But it isn't. It was a lot of fun. We did get some business, and it sounds really promising. So that felt really good. But here's the 3 words: direct, consistent, motivated action. Direct action is something immediately and specifically calculated to create the outcome you want, not roundabout action. So let me give you an example. I'm a coach. I work with a lot of coaches. I know a lot of coaches. One of the big things every coach needs to do is find clients, have conversations. Direct action to find clients is to go have a conversation with people. Another direct action is to go to places where you might, like networking and other places where you might have a chance to have a conversation. Indirect action is posting some stuff on social media. Now, this is all going up on YouTube, 5 Facebook places, and LinkedIn. So posting on social media, yes, it is. But I've spent the entire day doing direct action. Talking to people, speaking at this event, following up with people afterwards, sending text messages that I know, responding to people's stuff. Direct action. The second word is consistent action. Now, I've taught piano for 40 years. I started when I was 17. I quit when I was about 57, so that was about 10 years ago. And what I noticed is that piano students, whether they were adults or kids or beginners or advanced, piano students that practiced every day, 45 minutes, made way, way more progress than someone who binge practiced more time, but all like, 6 hours on the weekend, trying to cram it all in at once. So there is something powerful in consistency, something about muscle memory and familiarity, and the pianists call it having a song so that you just know where it is and your fingers have muscle memory. So that's the second of the three words: direct action, consistent action. And the third word is motivated action. Motivation only comes when you have passion around your goal. So I had motivation today, and I started to talk out by looking around the room very, very slowly, looking at each person. Now, 55 people or something, that took a minute. And I don't know if anybody was getting uncomfortable in the silence, but I just looked around the room. And then I said, I love you. That's why I'm here. Now, and maybe some eye rolls and stuff, I don't know. But motivation, my motivation was to give them the opportunity to understand, to help them understand that I wasn't there because I needed something. I wasn't there to try to talk them into something or sell something, buy something. My motivation was to love and serve them. So we talked about what is the meaning of love? What is the meaning of service? What would service even look like for them, not for me? So I spent the whole time talking about them, their needs, their vision, what they need, what they are trying to accomplish, etc. And by of necessity, I'm talking to 55 people. A bit generic because I couldn't deal with each person. But the point is, I was motivated to do that. The talk was energetic, it was exciting, and so forth. So I use this just as an example. But the rule is direct, consistent, motivated action. That's step 8 in the seize the day framework. Step 8. So if you've set objectives, they need to be small enough not to be frightening. Because if you look at an objective and you think, I've got to eat this whole elephant, you may not know how. You may not have eaten an elephant, but you do it one bite at a time. So you can always set more goals. Rather than set objectives for today that you're doubtful about, it is more powerful, more productive, more mentally reinforcing to set smaller goals and then do more if you want to. So one of the ways I think about this is I say, okay, I'm going to set 3 non-negotiables for a given day. 3 non-negotiables. That means 3 things I'm doing no matter what. And I don't size them to fill up the whole day. I do goals that I believe with all my heart I bear. Why? So I can do them well. I can put my all into them with that direct, consistent, motivated action. And then I go after it hardcore. Now, when I get those 3 things done, I have a choice. If those were my non-negotiables and they're all done and I want to spend the rest of the day with my staring at the ceiling counting dots in acoustic ceiling tile, I'm free to do that. Or I'm free to go have an ice cream, or I'm free to do whatever I want. More often than not, I'll pick another list, not a list, but another goal or 2. Not because I have to, not because I feel guilty, productive, not because I need to prove anything, but because my work is my heart. My work is my love. So I don't really ever work. I just get to love people, serve them, and solve problems. That's my business plan. You've heard that before. I never look for people to love, opportunities to serve, and problems to solve. So that's the phrase that I use, and I shared that today in the talk, and that was very interesting too. So this is the 8th of these 12 parts to creating an awesome day. Now, it might feel like 12 parts, I can't do that every day. Yes, you can. And here's what I can promise you, and I don't make promises lightly. I can promise you that if you do these 12 parts in the morning and then during the day, you'll not only get more done, but you'll have more fun. More of your heart-centered work will happen. More of the things you love to do will be on your plate. So you'll get more done, you'll love your work more, you'll make a bigger impact, and you'll make more money. Help me understand what could possibly be wrong with that. It's part 8 in Seize the Day framework. I promise that it works, but only if you do the parts with real intent, without cutting corners, and really focus. Cutting corners is like going to the gym and cheating on the lifts, right? Muscle, or the muscle growth you get is really limited. You need to be rigorous. Why? Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you really want the growth. So if you want to have magical days every day, follow these 12 steps. Follow the 12 parts to this program. Today was part 8. You are a divine being. You have the capability of creating anything you want. The only requirement is you get on the path to that goal and you keep moving. I'll see you tomorrow on the road to 50 million.